Achilles wants glory. Hector wants peace.
And somehow only one of those two guys gets remembered as legendary.
So today's question is, who actually is the hero here?
And why is it Achilles?
You know what? That's fair. That's fair. You know what else is fair? I do like Troy, right? But where are the gods,
Yeah.
man? Where are the gods? Apollo gets his head cut off. Where are they?
I don't know. So if you read the Iliad and then watched this, you could have a legitimate problem that a few minor two major characters seem to be missing in this movie.
Yeah.
I'm just pointing it out.
Just point out. There's one
Frank,
Ajax. Where's the other
question.
Ajax? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But hey, but you know what?
It's a great question.
Do you know what, though? Justin, guess what? Welcome to the Fiction Podcast with your host, Frank, and...
He just said it. It's Justin.
I did. Yeah, I said it twice. Hey, you know what? That's just how excited I am. We are finally talking about The Ancient World. Season 4, The Ancient World. Last week, great discussion. We talked about Homer's Iliad and the Odyssey. Now we're diving in. We're talking about the 2004 movie Troy, starring Brad Pitt. I guess Eric Bana, because I guess he's also the other hero, according to Justin.
Hey, you said that we're finally talking about the ancient world, but there are probably some listeners out there that think back and they think about Harry Potter in the 90s and they're like, ancient world. I mean, there is a possibility. It feels ancient to me.
You know what?
But I can see it.
You know what, sir? Legit. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. We're talking about the ancient world again.
A little bit further back.
A little bit further. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
So this is season 4 talking about the ancient world. We're hitting Troy up today. Just as a general alert, there will be spoilers if you have not watched this movie. I hope you have, but if you have not, and there'll be spoiler alerts if you have not read the poems by Homer, the Iliad and the Odyssey, as we'll refer back to those in kind, in case you do want to read them. And also, as usual, if you're liking this, whether you're watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify or Apple or some other medium, like us, follow us. It really does help. And if you've got questions, thoughts, send us an email at thefictionpodcast@gmail.com or drop us a note at Instagram. But, we are here.
You can also slide into Frank's DMs.
Okay. Yeah.
You said but.
Yeah, but I was going to transition back into what we were talking about.
I thought you were trying to get... No.
Okay,
no,
cool.
I thought you were trying to get me to set you up.
Yeah. That, we'll work on that. We'll work on that delivery. But, right now we're good. We're good. So we talked about it, right? This movie, Troy, depicts parts of, or supposed to depict parts of the poem, the Iliad. This is an epic fantasy, epic world building. The cinematography, everything is amazing, especially for 2004. But where's Zeus? Where's Apollo? Where's Poseidon? Where's Ares? Where's Aphrodite? Athena. Athena was my girl. Where is she, right? But they're gone. Now there's no gods. It's just people. And so now we're talking about an epic poem that had the gods as sort of the key stars, and now it's just the people. So that's going to be fun. So let's chop it.
It's you brought up that it's an epic, and there's a very specific, I actually pulled it up because I was I got to make sure I say it right. But there's, an epic poem of this, the Iliad or the Odyssey, which are considered epic poems, isn't just how we use the adjective or the descriptor of epic. This is awesome. It's amazing. It is, but it is also about a hero's journey, someone that is pretty much superhuman, but there's also intervention by the gods. So that is a very key point in becoming an epic poem.
That's true.
And so that's missing.
I'm
just going to say it now.
That is true.
I just wanted to back you up because it does bring it into question.
Yeah. I think we'll hit this theme in the contrast, right, between Troy and Iliad, but it's another thing, and we'll see how Christopher Nolan does this in the Odyssey. Right? The entire Iliad was a devotion to the gods, right? The gods played us like chess. Some will say checkers. Some of the gods, but you think
no, a chess is correct, but you said us, so are you suggesting that you're reborn again and you were at that battle? I'm just curious.
Justin,
you're Ajax.
No,
you're Ajax.
You know who I wanted to be? I wanted to be Diomedes, man. Diomedes was a stone cold killer.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Do you know why I know he was a stone cold killer? Ask me why I know he's a stone cold killer.
Why do you know he's a cold killer?
Yeah, because Pierce Brown brought him back in the second iterations of Red Rising, the second trilogy, and he's a stone cold killer, my friend.
You just got to tie it all in.
I do. I was gonna always tie to Pierce Brown. Sorry.
I appreciate that. No, I can respect that.
Yeah.
I can respect it.
But no, like I mean, I think like the whole theme is like the gods. You can blame the gods, and you can thank the gods, but you can also say it's not me, yo, it's the gods, right? And this version takes that away. So now we're seeing human, actual characteristic traits for themselves, which I do think is
Uh-huh.
refreshing. But like you say, it also takes out a huge dynamic of the poems themselves.
You also don't it's we as we always will call out, it's a movie. We don't have quite as long a time to
Yeah,
draw this out, introduce those characters, develop those characters, explain everything we just explained
yeah.
throughout that movie, and then still make it all tie together in one, just in one
And this
go.
was a long movie. This was about 2 hours and 40 minutes, I think. So it was already long as it was, right? So,
I know, I watched the director's cut today.
oh wow, so that's like 3 hours, but
It was it was intense.
yeah, yeah. It was good. It was good. Okay, quick plot. I will keep the spoilers to a very minimum because this is like a truncated plot, right? So in the movie, the Trojan War kicks off when Paris, Prince of Troy, steals Helen, Queen of Sparta,
Sparta.
sparking a full-scale Greek invasion by Agamemnon, who is the king of
Are you asking me
my
to jump in here
yes, yes, yeah,
well, technically all of Greece.
but Mycenae, right? So
Mycena, but
yeah,
all of Greece, technically. He's
technically,
technically the
yes,
king of all the kings.
he is king of kings. Yes, you're right. Now
Well,
there are no kings. We just said that in the last episode or 2 episodes ago. No kings, no kings. Enter Achilles, the Greeks' unstoppable warrior, which again, by the way, like I said, in the epic poem, there's a lot of unstoppable warriors, but Achilles is he's apex, right? And he is chasing glory. He enters and goes to the Troy because he wants his legacy to outlive him. On the other side, we have Hector, the Prince of Troy, who in the movie is depicted as not fighting for fame, but for his family and his city. What follows is less about war itself and more about people and ego, honor, loyalty, and the choices that turn men into legends or tragedies.
yeah,
Let's have it.
I think you nailed it.
Yeah. I do have a question for you because this was something that I spin on, right? Before we get into some of the characters themselves, the movie gives us sort of like a prequel to the Iliad, right? It starts
Mhm,
with Agamemnon conquering another king and
uh-huh,
shows Achilles basically being the champion of the Greeks and shows why he
uh-huh.
is, shows his disdain for Agamemnon. And now they're moving to Troy and they attack
Yeah,
Troy. The Iliad, we're basically 9+ years into the battle, right? It's almost 10 years in. And so we're at the tail end of this, sorry, battle, I mean war, end of this war, where the Greeks are camping on the beaches of Troy. And it's been 10 long years. And we're sort of getting that depiction. And we're getting probably what, like 3 weeks of battle in that period. And we don't even get the end of that war. We just get a gap stop. Did you like the way the movie depicted it, or would you have liked something different? I mean, for me, I would have liked us being. It didn't have to be 10 years, but like starting in the trenches, encamped in that war, just to show, just like the levels of this. Like this is sort of like World War II or something else, where people are like, all these lives have been lost, and just like that. And then you get into Achilles' head, and you sort of do flashbacks, working your way there. Because to me, that would have
uh,
been more within scope. But I understand why they did what they did. But I'm more of a purist, so I'm kind of getting your take on see where you fit in that.
no, I get what you're saying. I think it had to turn Hollywood. I That's not the original when you started framing this question, I thought you were gonna go to a different route and ask if I had beef with how Homer did it, not give me the and I was like, "Oh, Frank." So that's an aggressive take from you.
I'm not challenging Homer, man.
So, no, I mean, I do. There are things I didn't like that they did that I wish they would have done differently and stuck more towards the, original book, or the original poem. But I just don't think that we had the time. And you have to make it Hollywood. and you have to keep everyone's interest sparked. And in a world where we have things now and we want them now, and that's how we want it, you have to keep things moving. And a flashback kind of takes away from that at times and slows it down a little bit. And so, I won't say I have issues with it. I was still very entertained, but nothing's probably ever gonna beat the OG, we'll see. But it's, as being like similar to you, being a purist or being a classical studies major and really going back to that, like, yeah, part of me is always gonna be there. But I remember when we debated in this movie or in movies, oh, they use different ships or they use the wrong helmets, or we get into all of that.
Oh yeah.
And,
Oh yeah.
it's like sometimes you just got to appreciate the fact that Hollywood or it has become mainstream enough that we get something that allows us to dive into that part of the world, and we get to go back into it, even if it isn't perfect.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, like, listen, don't let perfect the enemy of the good. But I'm like, I mean, I like flashbacks. I'm still like I'm stuck in that. Like I'm still stuck. Like they could have made this like gritty. Just, I mean, listen. Some people thought they might have got enough of Achilles, but I'm gonna
Never
say this
enough.
as a grown man. I, I don't think I did. And Brad Pitt, I didn't get enough. I didn't. This is Brad Pitt
I
in
hear
his
you.
prime, man. Like I'm like the dude was good. I know there's a stunt devil and all that kind of stuff, but I thought those choreographed scenes of fighting scenes were pretty fun. I could have done more. I could have. I'm not gonna
You
lie.
know, you can quote me on this, but I'm not positive it's accurate. But I believe I read somewhere that Brad Pitt actually tried to back out of this at one point
Oh, really?
and didn't wanna go through with it, and then figured out learned his went through his contract a little bit, like, "I gotta go through with this." But I read that story somewhere, I can't remember where it was, so
Well,
that's not 100% backed in fact because I did not confirm it, but I feel like I read that somewhere recently. But who knows?
I don't know who else would have, to me,
Oh, he killed it!
done the
Literally, pun
job.
intended, just
Yes,
slayed.
yes, he did. He was slated, yes. Well, sticking with Brad Pitt's character Achilles, right? Let's dive into the characters. I feel like they truncated, which makes sense, like you say, for the movie. They truncated who we focused on. We didn't have a cast of characters. We didn't have the Ajaxes. We didn't have Diomedes. We didn't have the other Trojans. It was really a biopic of Achilles and then side angles with Hector, Agamemnon, and Odysseus, probably.
Yep.
So let's start with the main guy. Let's start with Achilles, right? Like I said, without God's guiding his hand, we have a hero, in the loose terms, in air quotes, choosing glory or choosing a long lived life with a happy family. And he ended up choosing glory, right? So, I mean, what do you have to say about the character Achilles in general, in broad strokes?
Alright. To be clear, I'm going to make my comments based around the movie because that is what we are discussing. So I'm going to do everything I can
Okay.
to stay as focused in that realm as possible. I think Troy does a really good job of forming Achilles into a legend, like as we go through it. And you see how great he is. I mean, I think the perfect example is the beach storming scene, which is just amazing.
Yes.
When he hits that sand and just all the Greeks are cheering for him and he does all of that. But then there are moments where they do a really good job of making, in ways, Achilles more human, right? More relatable. Like, he loves Patroclus, and then what's his the female love interest,
Briseis.
Reese's or
Briseis. Yeah.
Briseis, and and like you see a moment where you're like, you kind of almost want him to go home and like leave the war. You're like, this is great. He's gonna
Mhm.
go home and make
Mhm.
this decision and live this way. But I think in purpose of the whole movie, I think they did the best job they could. But I agree with you. I would like more. I want more of that beach storming scene. I want more of him fighting in the actual, like, man, could we have just gotten one scene with him down in there when they're going and like they're in all the chaos
In
and
the
you get
melees.
Hector and you
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
Ajax. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
want a melee of just no one wanting to be anywhere near this dude.
Yeah.
Like, just give me a little bit of that.
Yeah.
So I could have gone a little bit more of that.
No, I totally agree. I totally
Yeah.
agree. I mean, I think, like, why am I blanking on the name of the book that talks about Achilles and Patroclus?
It's the Iliad. Is that what you're getting at?
No, there's a book that talks
I
about
know.
the
Yeah.
brotherhood or the love
I know.
interest between
Of course, which I
Patroclus
missed.
and Achilles. It'll come back to me. Here is the thing that gets me. I'm going to talk about the thing that gets me.
Song of Achilles.
The Song of Achilles. Thank you. That should have been easy. Literally has his name in it. But I think the thing that gets me is how short time frame we're in. Basically, they storm the beach first day. Briseis gets captured. She gets taken to Agamemnon. The next day, they lose a battle. Briseis comes back to him. Then they're magically in love. Day three, day four, he kills Hector. Day five, you know what I mean? Like it was a
Yeah.
week. It was a magical week. It was a romantic, whatever. So
You're really hung up on this timetable.
I
You are
am. I am.
really hung up on this
Because
timetable.
it makes it hard to believe that a man however long Achilles had lived in the world, right? Let's say 30,
Yeah.
25, whatever, who has chosen to have his name etched in history. I choose to be remembered, right? There's a scene in the beginning where that messenger boy goes to find him and says, I'm
Mhm.
terrified of the beast you have to fight. He's so big. I
Yeah.
wouldn't go back. And Achilles, says, and that's why
Yeah.
your name would never be remembered, right? So like
Yeah.
he is all about that. His mother tells him if he goes to Troy, he will die, but his name will live in history. But if he stays, he will have a beautiful life. And he chooses Troy, right? So I don't feel like we got enough of him and Briseis to like explain the about face. We did get enough for him to kind of spit in the face of Agamemnon. That was clear. And that could have been
Uh-huh.
part of the decision why he had the about turn of face, but I just didn't feel like we had enough. But with that being said, like you said, I think Brad Pitt played a good character. Achilles' rage, man, from point to blank. Again, I'm bringing Red Rising in. It's like Darrow, rage from A to B. That's who he is. That's how he lives. He's momentum. You put, like, everyone was like, let Achilles go. And Agamemnon's like, he's just like, we don't know what he's going to do. Who cares? Put him in the battlefield. Just let him go, right? That's who Achilles was. And I like that we got a little bit of layers from him, right? As he's talking with Briseis, as he's talking with Patroclus, as he's talking with his right hand man. But the question that I do have, because he is driven by glory and my name must be etched and remembered in time, is without the gods, is Achilles more impressive or more reckless because of that? Because because I know you don't want to talk too much about the Iliad, but in the Iliad, his
Yeah.
mom and everyone else is telling him, "You're going to be remembered. You're going to be a great hero," and they're kind of pushing him, right? And
Uh-huh.
this time, he's spitting on the face of the gods. He tells Briseis that the gods, like, they don't care about us, like, so he's doing this on his own accord. Like he wants to be remembered like the gods, is what I'm thinking. So what do you think? Like, does that make him impressive that this is his path he's taking, or reckless because it's him?
So originally, I think before until you started talking about it and going into it, I probably would have said it was all him and it was just his decisions and he was just whatever picking his journey. But it is kind of interesting when you think of it from the standpoint of having read the Iliad as many times as we have. And he makes these comments about the lines about the gods not really caring about us and not really like they envy us because
Yeah.
of what we get here. But does that really does it lead to him saying, "Oh, the gods aren't important," or whatever it might be, or is it actually that he knows that they play a much bigger role and that they're just their pawns, and so he's like,
Mm,
"They don't care about us. They'll throw us away, and they will throw us here on this beach and make us do this." So, it's like it's almost like he's just automatically accepted his fate, and so he's like, "Look, I have no control over it. They've already decided I'm going to die here." So even when I tried to get pulled out, like they took Patroclus and they pulled him right back in. And so I wasn't originally thinking that until you started talking about it more. And I don't know, I think I'd probably make the argument that he has a relationship with the gods. He knows that he came to this beach and so he's already pretty much committed his life to this or has committed his life to this and there's no point fighting it because he knows he came here basically to die. He knows he came here to become a legend, and he knows that he hasn't done enough yet to become that legend. So he knows that he's got more in him
hmm
to go, just be a bad, bad man. And he
He's
knows
a
because
bad man.
he knows he's got to get it. So he doesn't, and that's like almost like right. The idea of a Greek tragedy is he doesn't really. You think he's gonna get out, and then
Yeah.
oh no,
I mean, you mentioned that, like, tragic part about it is that you will be remembered, but you have a short life, right? And I think with bringing Briseis into this more heavily than she was in the Iliad, as far as his love interest, like real love interest, not just, a slave that,
Right.
um, I think you do add those layers to him where he knows he's caught in this cycle because she has the same sort of cycle with her love for Apollo, and he's trying to like give her more info, more tea about that. But I think for me, I think there is a little nod though to the fact that he is one multidimensional, like one layered, and that is not good. Is that in the end, when he decides, like after Prius, right? King Priam, sorry, Prius. God, I can't talk. Priam, Patroclus, Patroclus. Yeah. After
A
he comes.
Prius,
Yeah.
modern day
Yeah.
vehicle.
After which by the way, I love the actor that plays King Priam. After he comes and pleads for Achilles to give him back Hector, like he kind of has a come to the gods moment, right? I was gonna say come to Jesus moment, but he tells Briseis to go back, live her life. Then he tells his own men to take their ships and go back, right? He wants them to live, and he's like, "You served me well. Go back. Don't die. Live."
Mhm.
They ask him to come with them, and he doesn't. And one could say, like you say, it's a tragedy. Like he is slated to die, and he knows that. But as you can tell, when he goes into the city, he's one-minded. Like he wants to save Briseis. And he knows they're gonna sack the city and she's likely gonna become a slave or she's gonna die. So even then, like he's not even thinking about being the hero anymore. And one could say maybe because he already killed Hector and that's all he needed to do.
Right.
But I think it's also a realization, a Hollywood realization, a PR realization that we need to change Achilles in a way to make him more lovable, believable, and not one dimensional. Which without the gods, bringing Briseis in is a way to sort of
Right.
do that.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point because you have to do something to make him the hero in the situation.
Exactly.
Hector is not in the movie long enough and he's no longer around. So you're either just going to have this ransacking of Troy with no redeemable opportunity, and you're going to just be like, well then you might be left being like, well then who is the hero
Yeah.
that we're going to that Hollywood is going to allow us to fall in love
Yeah.
with?
I mean, is Hector the tragic hero? Right? You've been
No,
off
I
screen. You kind of made some notes on that.
I
I.
I think this movie makes Hector a another hero, or maybe more of a guy you just feel bad for that kind of
Yeah.
got thrust into this position.
Paris,
Uh,
man, Paris. I would
yeah, I
I
know.
would
Don't even get me
just
started on
beat
Paris.
Paris to a pulp, dude. I'd be like, dude, what the heck? Yeah.
Well, his dad. Well, it's tough because his dad's like the one. Like, I almost feel like Hector wants to. He's like, can we just give them both up and like save our people?
Oh,
And then his dad goes on this story about why he can't do it
yeah.
and convinces Hector. There's a whole list of opportunities where Hector is just
Oh,
getting just and every decision is made wrong and it
oh
just
yeah.
keeps going
Keeps
and this
going.
poor dude
Yeah.
just can't catch a break.
To be fair though, like I don't think as soon as they left on their ships, there was no right decision. If you give
Yeah,
Helen back, that's enough of a provocation because they know that they've wanted Troy for forever. I
that's
think
why
that
he turned it around. He knew he
exactly
couldn't.
he knew he could, but then even when he got home, he's like, "We should give her up."
Yeah. He's like, is there anything we could do,
Yeah,
Dad?
yeah.
Now that you're
Come
involved,
on,
could you
Dad.
please
Come on,
help a
come on,
little?
Come on, King of Troy.
Yeah.
I will say this, like, because I do like to compare it to the Iliad. It that part is true. I think Hector berates his brother Paris constantly in the poem about this war is all your fault, and you're not even fighting like a man. He puts him down. Like
Yeah.
I don't blame him, but like so I think it's normal. But I think in this Hollywood version of the movie, Hector's the everyman, right? Hector is
Yeah.
he's fighting for family, fighting for city, fighting for country. He's the soldier. He's the one you want as who's going to be dependable, dependent. He doesn't believe like his dad in the powers of the gods, but he still follows because he's obedient son. He had a
Let's
little,
hold
he had
on.
a little head shake
I
there.
did, I did, and it's because he's not the everyman. Because I would probably argue, hold on, Trojan Warrior 17 is probably closer to the everyman. That guy plays that guy.
Okay. Okay. All right, man. All right. Okay. He's the every prince. How about that? Is that better?
That was good.
All
That
right.
was good.
But no, I mean, like, I think by taking the gods out, they gave Hector a chance to be more stable and responsible, in contrast to the rage of Achilles and the greed of
Mhm.
Agamemnon, right? So, because again, Hector is also someone in the poems who's susceptible to the gods saying, "Fight this person, do this," because he knows
Pushes him
yeah,
towards different battles
they
and
even
yeah.
pushed him to fight Achilles because he thought the gods favored him to win that battle. So
Mm.
but by taking that out, they've made that contrast, which I do think is good for the movie in general to have a contrast between someone who's not Achilles, but also is as capable as Achilles in war and battle.
Okay, so question on that
Yes.
is he knew he was preparing because he knew Achilles was coming.
Oh yeah.
And he knew he was coming. He there's a reason he showed his wife the way out. He came dressed in full
Battle armor,
armor.
man. He was ready.
He
Yeah.
was ready to go. He knew that this was going to happen. Like he knew that he was going to be called out and he knew he was going to lose. There was no You took one look at his eyes and there was nothing in his eyes or in his will that made me think, "Oh, he thinks he's got a shot." It was like he knew
Nobody
he
thought he
was
had a
going to
shot. His dad was giving him like the final
right.
rites, like you're my favorite son.
So so could we not, while the gods were not a prevalent part in this, could you not make an argument though that, like I said, that Achilles says that they don't really care about us. They're just whatever. We're just here. That they're really behind the scenes just pushing it. They're just pushing him out there. They're making him make that decision. You say free will, maybe it's really the gods.
I mean, I'm gonna say it's his code of honor. I mean, that's he.
That's fair too.
His wife was like, "Please don't go," and he's like, "Wife, I must go." And like, it's like, please don't. And which again,
Yeah.
this is also a point that we don't get to talk about that much because it's not a big focal point in the movies, but the role of women in the poems themselves, like the disrespect that they get,
I know.
because in the poem itself, she's like, "Don't go, because if you go and die, I'm going to get captured as a slave, and your son's going to get
Yeah.
murdered." Right? Like that is
Yeah.
the penalty for you going. So in the movie, he's showing them an escape route. Right? So again, they're
Right.
pushing the agenda to show that yeah, he is honorable. Right? It's honor that makes him go.
Could we okay, fine. You've got this code of honor,
Yeah.
but you've also got like 1,000 bowmen
Oh
and
yeah.
one dude.
Oh yeah.
Let's just send 1,000 arrows down there to see what happens. And if he
See if
goes,
it
then it's like,
sticks.
hey,
See if it sticks.
yeah,
I don't,
I see what you did there.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
why
Because Justin, honor makes you do silly things. That's why, as much
so
as I'm not a big fan of, I'm not the biggest fan of Grimdark, but I love it. But I don't like love it. Our
yeah.
man, a freaking Logan Nine Fingers would have had his bowman just go, killed that guy, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, yeah. So I get you, man. I get you. Like that scene when he was like, "Stop," I'm like, "Why are you telling the bowman to stop?" Hector, that's not your fault. Achilles
Why
is a
is
is the dumb one for coming too close to bow
yeah,
range. If he wanted to fight you,
it's
he could have shout. He shouted pretty loud. He could have shouted pretty
Hector
loud further back. Like,
needs to be sitting there thinking still alive.
yep,
Still alive.
yep,
Every battle, still
exactly.
alive.
No, it's again, it's the honor, it's the responsibility of the country. Like if he backed down, it would have demoralized his soldiers, his city. He had to fight. But I'm like, you dying demoralized your soldiers in the city.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
They seem pretty sad.
dude, man, he got taken.
Mm. All right, sorry.
No,
We went us off took us off on a tangent
no,
there.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Okay, we are running a little short, so let's skip Agamemnon and Odysseus. Let's bring him into our next topics and our discussions because they
Can
are secondary. Unless you want to hit something
No,
brief.
no, no, no. I'm fine with that. But I just would like to take one moment to discuss the movie version of Troy's Ron Weasley, which is Paris, and how atrocious he was for this whole thing. Man, he just did not care. That selfish little sucker didn't
Before
care.
you do that, can you tell us
Uh,
why Ron Weasley? Like, you just gotta let us know why he's winning the Ron Weasley Award. Like, what is
The
that?
Ron Weasley Award is, I mean, we should probably figure out exactly how I want to describe this, but he is selfish. He can't stand the fact that he's not number one. He only cares about himself and what he is not getting or what he should be getting, and he just drives me insane. And the lead, Harry Potter, or in this situation, Hector, would have been fine without him. He was
Okay.
not there. He was just there. He was just the
Okay.
bad sidekick that was not relevant or needed and just screwed everything up. And I found myself rewatching this. I have not watched this movie in a while, but I found
Yeah.
myself rewatching this movie, and I was like, Paris, you little turd. He's
So,
just real bad.
listen, this hurt my heart so much because this comes after Orlando Bloom played Legolas
I know.
in Lord of the Rings, and after seeing him as such a bad man, and then you see him as just like a cowering coward, you're like, Legolas, what happened to you, dude? What happened?
It
And then they like try to redeem him by giving him the bow and arrow. I'm like, nah,
right.
man,
Why
no, no, no.
should have just stuck him with the bow and arrow from the start. We
They
already
should have.
know we know he's got
We
the
know he's got the
skill.
chops. If you read the poem, you know
Yeah.
it. But you know what's funny enough? Because Paris is who Paris is. He's just being Paris, man. Paris just being
Yeah.
Paris.
Paris just Paris and
I actually don't have him as my Ron Weasley Award. I'm
oh,
going with Brendan Gleeson. I'm going with Agamemnon. He wins the Ron Weasley Award for me. A king, there's no
wait,
kings, but a king of kings.
Agamemnon is Brian Cox.
Oh shoot, Brendan Gleeson geez. Oh my gosh. Menelaus. Why did I mix him up? Yes,
I don't
Brian
know.
Cox. Thank you. Let's take it back. Brian Cox. Why did I mix
Oh,
that
no.
up? Yeah. So the leader, so Menelaus, the brother, Brian Cox, Agamemnon, the leader, the king of kings, is
No kings.
no kings, so jealous of Achilles. It makes my eyes bleed. Like, dude, you're the king of kings, mate. Like, you don't even have to rub it in his shoulders. Whatever Achilles does is gonna go back to you. Like you
Yeah.
say, you are the king. You're gonna remember as the king who won the war, right? Let Achilles have his little battle. Who the heck cares? The dude is so jealous.
I know.
I'm just like, dude, like, come on. And I will say, when you take the gods out of it, he is greedy. So we're reading
Yeah.
Berenstein Bears to our kiddos right now.
Love the Berenstein
Yeah,
Bears.
and like the case of the gimmies, right? So like the case of the
I
gimmies is
I
like,
know this book.
yeah, they got the galloping case of the gimmies. Like they just
Yeah.
want.
Gimme,
I
gimme, gimme,
swear,
gimme.
man, I give my mom. I want this. I want that. I want Troy.
Yeah.
I want give me Briseis. I want it all. I'm like, dude, man, calm the f down. You're just a little too hyper right now. Take a nap and then come back to us. Like, so he's my
That's
Ron Weasley.
okay. Dark horse Ron Weasley, since we're just on this topic, throwing it in there is I'm also going to toss out Patroclus. I'm sorry, but dude, you had no business putting that armor on and going to try and steal his glory. You needed to know your role, just like Ron Weasley did, and you didn't. And then you went and messed everything up and got Achilles killed. Just tossing it out there.
But like you say, man,
I said dark horse. He's not
the
my.
gods said that Achilles will die. So
Oh, so now we're putting it on the guy. You can't have it both, Frank.
I know. I'm playing with you. I'm playing with you.
Stop. You go read the gimmies. You can't have it all.
I just read it today. I know about it.
It is a good book.
It is.
I really like the one about the haunted tree. That's right. We're talking about the Berenstein Bears.
Yeah.
The one with the haunted tree. Oh, it's great.
Listen.
Great Sleeping Bear. Don't Wake, Great Sleeping Bear. Have you read that one yet?
We've read them all. Oh,
man. So good. It's good. All right, sorry.
It's good.
So good. The Berenstein Bears.
Yeah. Okay, so all right. We've hit some of those characters. I love that we brought in the Ron Weasley Award because I got us trending in the right direction here. Because I do think we've hit this over really hard with the hammer, but I do think the God theme thing is pretty important. But I think at the end of the day, like for this movie, right? It's an epic movie. There aren't many like deep, juicy themes from the movie itself, but I do think they explore between greed, honor, and talking about glory. And those three things with self-preservation is sort of like the last part there. But I do think at the end of the day, like this got Hollywood, but there's still something to be said about it speaking to the actual poem because I do think honor we've seen in both ways. It cut both ways. Like Hector's honor to his brother got their country killed.
Uh-huh.
Hector's honor about battle got himself killed. Achilles' honor in battle got himself killed. So I don't know if they meant that, but obviously,
Yeah.
right? Like it's not necessarily the same as the poems because again, you take the gods out of it, we're not there. But I'm not sure the movie meant that, but I'm seeing that, and I'm not sure.
Really,
Am I the only one seeing that?
I mean, I think we've already discussed how much I am pro self-preservation by launching 1,000 arrows down into Achilles because he kills the hand gloves. So I'm not going down into that sand.
No, no, I don't understand. Like honestly, I get honor, I get it, but like, if he
And
knew
it
that he was in battle and they were fighting, and all of a sudden him and Achilles were teeing off, cool, cool.
happens.
But yeah, like uh, eh, eh, I, I will say, we're talking about honor. I'm gonna skip all that. That scene. So set in the picture. Achilles has
Mhm.
just buried Patroclus, gave him the
Yep.
2 coins for the bury for the boatman. He takes his horse, takes and goes off, and Briseis is like, "Don't, he's my cousin." And he's like, "Get out of my face." Just
Yeah.
rides. Stone cold killer. Like, I don't watch WWE anymore. I used to watch it back in middle school, but like
Yeah.
I can imagine this. Like he just comes in, doesn't even need a mic. The crowd is just silence because they don't know what's going on. And he's just calling his opponent's name. And then you see like on the teleprompter, his opponent's just like, starts
Yeah. His
strapping up, getting ready, like, oh God. And he's just like, Hector! Dude, the breathing, even just the breathing and like the way that, because again, it wasn't the same, the costume is a little
yeah.
bit different, but whew, that that scene, man,
Yeah.
like that is, whoo, that's
That's
awesome.
it. I mean,
That's awesome.
it's a great scene. I do still since we're talking about scenes, I do actually still prefer the beach scene when he comes. But who doesn't love a good beach scene?
No, I agree.
It's just running down the sands,
Yeah.
like it's just great.
No, it's great.
No, I agree with you. I think it's just his personality, and that's when I mean, first word in the book, rage, right? So
Yeah.
that's you talked about the theme rage. It's the first word in the poem,
Yep.
rage, and it's like his he Hollywood tried to show like how he had this brief moment of peace and then his you could not deny because that is what he is. Rage is what epitomizes him.
Yeah.
And that is what it was. And that's what you get from that scene is he flips the switch and then that's it.
That's it. Yeah, Achilles, man.
Yeah.
So what do we get from the characters? What do we get from this? If we're looking at this as like this is an epic story that we're getting. If you were debriefing this with like someone who hadn't seen it, just wants to understand it more, are we talking to them about the world building? Are we talking to them about Achilles and his rage or Hector and his honor? Like what are we like really getting out of this that are memorable sort of snapshots that we can pull back?
That is tough because I think you could take that conversation in so many different ways, right? There's just the ability to enjoy it for the movie that it is and just watch it as like a Hollywood movie and be like, yeah, this was an action film with a ton of fighting and it was an entertaining for some of us 3+ hours. And it's also, you know what? Understatement that we haven't I mean, it's Greece. It's a beautiful movie. That water makes me want to go. Like it was shot very
It's
well.
only half in Greece because
Yes,
Troy
true,
is in
true.
Turkey.
So right, but still all of it. You get the idea,
Yeah,
is
yeah,
in the
yeah,
Mediterranean. So
yeah.
it's still it's a really beautiful you could appreciate it from that standpoint. You could appreciate it from the action. You could take it into a direction that you and I would probably take it if someone had seen it a few times and were like, you got to talk about it, like compare it to the book some and realize that this was missing there. So it's tough. It's tough to just pick one avenue to go down because there's just, especially when you've read the Iliad as much as we have and seen this movie as many times as we have, which it's not like one I've watched 100 times, but I've definitely seen it a lot. You could take that conversation in completely different ways, but I don't think you and I could have had this conversation without talking about honor or greed or especially rage or glory. And because the movie is it's Achilles is the main character, and we couldn't get through it without talking about those things that really depict who he is, both in the movie, but especially in the epic poem.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. I do agree. Like we didn't hit heavy on it because it still looks gritty if we're looking at it in graphics standards for 2026 and close to that time frame. But yeah, the world building is epic. Like the scenes, like there's a lot that they do there that's kind of that's I wouldn't say beautiful in the way you mentioned as far as like the structures that we're looking at, like the
The
what the let
landscapiness.
like it's like we've got a lot of desert area kind of stuff. Even the beach feels sort of more gritty and sandy, but I think like the scope of it and what they put in, and just thinking about a lot of this isn't CGI, right? So it's like
Mhm.
I do think that is something that should be applauded.
How well do you think that holds up?
It's I think the single combat fight scenes and the dialogue between characters holds up just fine. I do think like even so going to the beginning, the first part about the movie when both armies, Greece, Agamemnon's massive
Mhm.
armies marching against to conquer one of the last vestiges of the Greek kingdoms that aren't under his control, it looks old. Right? Like
Yeah.
it doesn't like I can tell this isn't a newer movie, but I can't tell it's like well it's fine for me, but
Yeah.
I'm someone who's been used to different things, right? Like if you give someone who's 18 to look at it, I don't know what they're going to say, right? If they love movies that are older that they can appreciate it maybe, but I will say like the single combat scenes, they choreographed them well, they filmed them well. Like you
Mhm.
keep mentioning the beach scene with Achilles when his
Yeah.
are Myrmidon, sorry, are like attacking, and then he has this one-on-one battle where he just goes beast mode. I mean, he goes
Mhm.
Logan Nine Fingers and just takes out like 8, 10 people, and then all the
The
ships are like,
original
yes, the
the
original Logan
original
Nine
Logan
Fingers.
Nine
Yeah,
Fingers.
exactly. Yes,
Amazing.
that scene holds up to me. Like some people
Yeah.
may say no, but I'm like, nah, that holds up. So I think most of it does. I think because again, they did do a lot. They do a good job of just some of that single combat, which is really most of the battles, really. So I think that's a really good
Right.
job. Yeah.
I think it actually, and I know you've got other questions to ask, but I actually think it holds up pretty darn well. I was pretty impressed rewatching it. There have been times I've gone back and watched movies that, like, we've loved or thought we loved at one point, and then come back and watch. I was pretty entertained rewatching it. So,
Yeah.
I wouldn't let that deter me. There's plenty of times that I've seen attempted CGI. You're like, that was bad.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm also a dude that loves the original Star Wars and is like, bring it on. I'll keep going back. So
Yeah.
there's, as you like to say, um, there's probably some nostalgia
Oh,
hitting here a little
definitely,
bit for me.
definitely,
So
definitely. But yeah, like I said, I hadn't seen this movie in a long, long time. So a lot of it, obviously, I remember. I'm pretty good remembering things, but like visually, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, okay, that's cool." So I agree with you. Like I felt like it didn't like I think season 2 we did Blade Runner, right? I mean,
yeah,
that one, I mean, again, it's 80s. I can't blame it, but that one does not hold up visually. It just can't. It
right.
doesn't. So maybe in 40 years' time, Troy may not hold up. But right now, to me, it does. So I think if you're still looking for some epic fantasy, epic battle, world building, you're going to enjoy it. So I think that works for me. Okay, let's do this. Let's get there. We've talked about them as individuals. Let's grade them. So we, as you know,
Oh,
love to grade. Justin, tell them our grading scale. Tell them what we like to do here.
because the first day of college at our university, I walked in and I was told by one of my professors that the grading scale will be graded as thus, is that a C is good work. That is the average work that I expect to see is a C. So don't be surprised if some of you who've gotten A's and all of this are getting C's, because that's good work. That's average work. Now, solid, really good work is a B, and absolutely phenomenal, great work that is just top of the line is an A. So then there's things below C. So, if you're just an average character, you're going to be a C. So
Yeah.
that's how we're going to grade it. So it might be a little tougher than some people would say, and I'm also going to toss out, there's probably going to be a little nostalgia effect here too, where I'm a little softy on it. So
Okay.
we'll
Okay.
just see how this goes. We'll
Okay.
see how this goes.
So I'm going to do two things here because you brought it up. So I'm going to bring it back up. We usually just grade the work, right? So here, Troy,
Mm,
2004 movie. we grade Troy. I think we should grade the heroes as well. We kind of
Ooh.
gave it to both Achilles and Hector are kind of the heroes in different strokes, different folks, right? But to get baseline, since you wanted to, you mentioned that Ron Weasley Award. You've got your Ron Weasley person. I got my Ron Weasley person. Let's grade our Ron Weasleys to get
Okay.
our baseline, and then we'll grade our heroes.
I was impressed with your selection of Agamemnon. I liked that. I liked you
Yeah.
bringing that in. I think as far as Ron Weasley goes, I would probably give them both A's. They're A Ron Weasleys. They are just atrocious, terrible turds. They're the worst.
I mean,
Uh, no, do you want me to grade them? Do you want me to grade them as how much I like them, or do you want me to grade them as a Ron Weasley, which they're
yes.
both pretty good Ron
Let's go.
Weasleys.
Let's go. How much you like them? Because yes, as Ron
Oh,
Weasley's,
that's
you gave them the
tough.
awards. I'm assuming they're an A. Yes. So Paris, what's your grade for Paris as a character, um, in Troy?
I mean, he's better than average. He's better than average,
Interesting. Okay.
but he's probably like, but he does play the role, right?
He
So
plays
you
the
got to
role.
give some credit there. You're supposed to feel that way about him.
Okay.
So gonna give him like a C plus.
Okay. I like that baseline.
You know,
I'll give him a C. Agamemnon, I think, like you said, he plays the role. He plays it how it's supposed to be. You take the gods out of it. You do have a
yep.
selfish, greedy king. And Brian Cox,
I
not
know. I was
Brandon
waiting for
Gleason.
this card.
Brian Cox, I love the guy as an actor. I think he has
Mm-hmm.
layers. And he
Like
didn't have that
parfait.
many scenes, but I think he did his job right. So I will give
Yeah.
him a B.
Well, now this is gonna get boring because I'm also gonna give him a B. But
Okay.
I think that's fair because I think while he is a Ron Weasley-esque character and has those traits, he is he plays it so well. You can just feel the
Yeah.
annoyance and the vitriol and the spoiledness and the greed and all of it
Yeah. Yeah.
just coming on, just
Oh
his
yeah.
hatred towards Achilles, everything. So he does a great job. So I'm not gonna dock the character in this situation, especially. I mean, I didn't do it for Paris. I'm really not gonna do it here. He played the role that he was supposed to play, and he did a very good job.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
good job.
Okay. All right. Hector. Hector.
All right. Now I have to clarify a few
Yes.
things here.
Yes.
Are we grading Hector just from the movie Troy? Are we grading the character that is Hector? Are we grading Eric Bana as his ability? Or are we
A-
putting the whole
All the
package?
above. All the above.
Okay. I'm gonna give, I mean, it seems I'm gonna go. See, you pulled this out. I wasn't ready for the characters.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give I'm gonna give him a B minus. There's a couple of reasons. I think he's too I think the character's fine. I think he does a fine job. I think Eric does a fine job with it. It's better than average. And I just think that, he's too obsessed with the character himself, is too obsessed with this honor aspect of it. And you know what? Maybe there is a little glory seeping in there because honestly, if you were this family man, you would care. That would be your sole reason to survive or to be here would be to survive and protect your family and protect the people of Troy. And too often you let yourself get caught up in doing this other stuff. And then he also lets his dad run him a little bit there too. So he annoys me here and there. So he's a good fighter. Not the
Mhm.
best. Good.
Um, Achilles said he was the best he's ever fought. So I mean,
Mhm.
I think he's pretty
Until
good.
he until he shadow boxes.
Listen, I will. I can't remember the quote now, and it's pissing me off because I didn't write it down. But I think he tells his soldiers before they go out to fight the Greeks was that the three things I live by, right? Like honor your city,
Yep.
and love your
Love your
woman,
woman. Yep.
and honor the gods, or something like
Yeah.
it's like city, gods, woman, and I don't know which order it's in. I don't know if he lived by that code. Is what I'm trying to get at
Yeah.
in his actual practice because of, like you say, what he ended up doing at the end. He had honor, but it was some sort of
Or was it selfish?
I,
Ego driven?
I
Could he
don't know.
be? I don't know. But
It's hard to say ego driven with Hector because it seemed like it was just so basic vanilla kind of thing. So I'm giving him a C plus because
oh,
he didn't have layers for me. he was a
Yeah.
steady Eddie. And his character was just this whole way through. He was a good man ish, I guess, because we don't know what to say with the whole like wife child thing. But like he was a
Right.
but he honored his father. He loved his brother. He was a good man, but he was just steady Eddie. So C plus for me. Now Achilles.
Yeah.
Brad
Do
Pitt.
it.
Brad Pitt, my friend. Here's the thing. Achilles in the poem, I can't blame him for some of the stuff. Achilles in the movie, I can because it's him. Even though the gods are influencing, it's still him. Uh, as as not believable to me because of the time span of the whole Briseis love
Uh-huh.
angle. I do like that that did give him layers, and I do like the introspection that he had all throughout. Like, I'm not gonna fight anymore. My best mate just died. I'm taking out Hector. The king came to see me. He's such a good man. I'm going to give him back Hector. My people, go back home. I'm going to save Briseis. There was just a lot there, but he was the main character, so it was meant to be there. But because of that, and the he's just a bad fighter. He's a bad
Yeah.
man. I'm giving him a, I'm going to say B plus. I'm going to say B plus.
God dang it. So, I mean, I'm fine with us having the same grade.
Okay.
I completely agree with
Awesome.
you.
Nice.
He's also my favorite character. It's also really difficult for me not to because I love like I mean I don't love, but I really like the character Achilles in the poem and going through the Iliad, and he plays such a major role in it and who he is, and there's so much more to him there in a way. And so you just don't get, but they do their best chance and the best they can for uh, making it Hollywood-esque. And, it's the same thing. I think Brad Pitt does a really good job.
He
I
does a
bet
good job.
somebody out there is gonna absolutely hate that I say that, but I think
I
he
think
does
it's a
a
good
great
job.
job as Achilles.
He does a great
So
job as
take that.
Achilles. Yeah. I can't
Yeah.
disagree. All right. Troy. Troy. Do you want me to go? Do you want to go? How do you want to do this?
Eh, I'll go.
All right.
I changed my grade actually after having this conversation with you.
Me too. So it's fine.
So I was gonna go B minus actually,
Mhm.
and then I'm gonna bump it up and be a little nostalgic and allow it to happen and give it a B because I thought it was very entertaining when I rewatched it. I still enjoyed it. I still thought it was a good movie and I was entertained watching it. Whereas sometimes we hit something that I think went the other way where I was like, God, I gotta watch this or whatever it might be. And so I was much, much more entertained than I was actually expecting to be going
Yeah.
back to it. And I was like, "Oh," found myself like, "Oh, yeah, I remember loving this and enjoying this part." And,
Yeah.
so I think a B, a lot of it is for nostalgic. If I didn't have the nostalgia of watching it and then having the background, I'd probably be a B minus, but
Yeah.
I'll stick with a B.
Yeah. I I will also be a B. That's not no surprise.
That we're awesome today.
We're awesome. Yeah. I think for me, like the key angle is like you say, like it's a 2 hour 40 plus movie. You watch the director's cut, so it's 3 hours. It doesn't feel like that. Like you said, there wasn't enough time. But I'm like, Justin, it was a 2 hour 40 movie. Like you could make
Yeah.
time, right? But it didn't feel like that.
There's just not enough time.
But so I think that's kudos to them in the way they did it. I love the fight scenes. I think this movie is not meant to be a thinker, right? And it did exactly what it was supposed to do. It entertained
Mhm.
us. I was entertained. Thank you, Brad Pitt. Thank you, Eric Bana. I was there. And I enjoyed the cinematography. And as though I have my quibs and qualms about the realness of a week-long war in
Right.
Troy, I think you take myself out of that. I think it accomplished what it was supposed to accomplish. It was a blockbuster hit. There's a lot of things there. I would recommend someone watching it. That's kind of like my higher than a C. Like I'm like, yeah, I'll recommend someone
Yeah,
watching it. I'll give them the caveats so they know, and it was enjoyable. So
I agree.
these where I'm at.
I can't believe we got through this entire episode and you didn't once get all into it and yell row Greeks were dying. Like the
I
fact that you
wanted to.
didn't even I can't
I
believe you didn't we got
I
through this whole
wanted to.
episode
I
and
wanted
you didn't
to.
say it. Not anywhere.
Like, listen, I don't know that guy, but the guy who played Ajax, this big monstrosity of a human being, that is one of my favorite scenes. It
Right?
just throws the guy
I
out.
I
Whoa,
can't
Greeks are dying! Like, I just love it. I just love it.
I've been on a paddleboard next to you, and you've quoted this, and you still aren't using it here. Like, I'm just like
I,
the whole time
I
talking
just I
about this
just didn't
movie.
know a moment. I couldn't find a logical moment to fit it in. There wasn't a
Frank,
moment. Like,
if
you know.
I can fit in sliding into your DMs into every
I
episode,
well,
you can fit this in
I don't
somewhere.
quite know if you can. That's the thing.
I just say it. You just say it and see what happens.
Yeah, you know what? That's fair. That's fair.
So you know what? I just worked it in for
You
you. Do
just
you see
did.
how
Thank
that
you.
works? Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
But no, that is one of my favorites. It's just a cheesy line,
I
but I
know.
I love it. I love it. But we are that's it. That's Troy. We hope you enjoyed our discussion on that. We took the gods out of this, propaganda for Achilles. Next week, this is Sparta. I don't know. I'll find something a better way of doing that. But Sparta.
Fun fact about that, I think that line was originally supposed to just be kind of spoken, and Gerard Butler was like,
Oh no, no, no. No, no, no.
and improvised it.
No, no, no. Thank you, Gerard Butler, because I bet you he read the graphic novel by Frank Miller and is like, nah, 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 nah. That's gotta
Full
be
send.
that's gotta be exclamation point. We gotta get on that.
Yep.
So but we are gonna talk about we can talk about the Spartans, talk about the Persians, all that fun stuff. If you've liked what you've heard or what you've listened to, what you saw, please like us on YouTube, like us on Instagram, like us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Just like. Follow us and send us a message if there's anything more that you want us to talk about, a different direction you want us to go. We just like to hear from you, and we will tailor it the best we can, because if you're listening, if you're watching, we want to make sure you keep doing so. So with that, signing off. See you next week, and hope you enjoy.
Can't wait.
Oh gosh, that was bad. Check you later.
Good thing you can cut
Check
it.
you later. Do you know where that's from, by the way?
It's
Check you
hold on.
later.
Hold on. It's not Dazed and Confused, is it?
All right, all right, all right.